I'm sure I got goosebumps.
I know you have.
And literally goosebumps.
So it wasn't that we're not going to be able to do, like trips to Vegas and what have you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there are things we
Maybe
can
one
do.
day, Soumen,
Maybe one day.
Is that when a lot of patients open up?
Always.
Really?
Always.
Okay.
And in the bath.
In the bath?
And in the bath.
So welcome to Eleanor's Don't Say the Word podcast. Most of us don't like talking about hospice care. Is this a surprise? Not really. So we push it away, we change the subject, and we often tell ourselves, we'll deal with it later. I don't need to think about that now. I'm not going to die now. I'll deal with it later. But for families living with serious illness, later can arrive very suddenly. And in today's conversation, we're going to talk about what happens in those moments. So when a patient deteriorates quickly, when families are frightened, and when decisions have to be made calmly, clearly, and with compassion. So today I'm joined by Dr. Soumen Saha, consultant and senior lecturer in palliative medicine. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Anna.
And Sue Marshall, Eleanor's practice development facilitator, who supports and trains hospice professionals every day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. So together, they work here at Eleanor, a local hospice that supports people and their families living with life-limiting illness across our community. Now, people, we're going to go straight in, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to faff around. We're going to go straight in.
No.
So people hear the word hospice and they think they know what it means. And there's a lot of people that I've shown around, Eleanor particularly, and they're always a bit nervous, like when they come in the building, like they have this preconception of what hospice care is. And most of the time, people leave and the words that they use are, I didn't realise it'd be like that.
Yeah.
So there is this conception of what this hospice is, what hospice care is. So from where you both sit, what's the biggest myth that you hear or you see around hospice care? What do people think?
In my experience, the biggest myth is that you go through that door and you don't come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which we know does happen, but also lots of people come in and have their symptoms managed or psychological support, and there's just so much more to it.
So you think there's maybe a lack of awareness of actually what we offer and what we can do?
I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Soumen, what about you?
In my role teaching medical students as well, a lot of medical students come to the hospice. There are one or two clued up, but there are some that are shocked by the positivity, in inverted commas, of the place. Yeah, and the fact that not everyone on the unit is dying. And they're able to converse and they're able to talk to that medical student about their experiences. So from their point of view, it tends to be a bit of a shock. And I agree. I think these preconceived ideas about the hospice being a one-way ticket, I've even junior doctors who come to us for attachments or whatever, just for a day, struggle to understand what it is we do. There are GPs in the area who are very involved in palliative care and know it inside out. And there are others who think, if they refer someone to us, it's kind of, it perhaps is the wrong thing to do. It's too early to do.
Right. So I've had several members that Eleanor have supported for my family. One very recently last week died in the inpatient ward. He had a beautiful death and all the family were there around the bed with him. And you do start to consider, have I done what I wanted to do with my time? Have I sort of ticked all the boxes and have I had the conversations that I want to have? And some of the nurses were quite keen on us to do that. Like if there's a conversation you want to have, now's the time to do it. And it's almost like, I got the feeling like it was leaving the world without regrets almost, like leaving whatever you're going to leave and wherever you're going to go, whatever your belief is or isn't. It was around not really having regrets and making sure that there was an opportunity to have those conversations that were left unsaid. And Eleanor does that very, very well. I thought that was beautiful that we were given the time as a family to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. I do feel like it's great if you get that time. I mean, the other side of this is we see a lot of people in crisis.
Yeah.
We see a lot of people quite late.
We do.
Almost too late.
I would agree with that. We do get referred people far too late by whether it be our primary care colleagues who are actually in the main fantastic anyway and know what we do. But also specialists in hospitals who think we're very much a last resort when actually we can collaborate. I know it's a very managerial word, collaborate, but we can work with them, can't we, as a proper team? And It's a case of us just being there if they need us for advice. We don't need to be the predominant individuals in charge of patient care. It can still be the medical consultant or the surgical consultant, whoever. But us being there doesn't mean we're going to give them any medication that accelerates things. On the contrary, we listen to what that patient and their family, but especially what the patient would like. What would they like? What's most important to them? It's an often asked question, but we need to listen to the answers. So we do ask what's most important to you, but sometimes someone won't really say. They'll say, "Oh, it's being free of pain," and of course that's important. But I think some people say that because they think that's what we want to hear.
Right.
But actually, we want to hear. It's getting to my daughter's wedding. It's being around for the birth of my grandchild.
Milestones,
absolutely,
like they're important, yeah.
and that kind of thing. Or it's these drugs that I'm on. They're controlling my sickness, but I can't now play the piano or whatever it is. And people largely don't want to bother you with that sort of information because they think they're wasting the nurse and the doctor's time. But actually, that is what we want to hear. And we think, well, hang on a minute. If that's what the drugs are doing, let's have a conversation about whether we wean off that drug, change to another drug. Just see, maybe that person, maybe there's no alternative, and the alternative is feeling sick. But they'd rather feel sick and be able to play the piano rather than going on a medicine that makes them less sick. But the fingers are all stiff and what have you, So that's the sort of thing we're talking about,
And people aren't going to realise that.
No,
because they think like clinical. It's all about the medicine. And it's not, is it? Ellenor does a lot more than that. A lot more. We offer a lot more services. I mean, crisis-wise, Sue, you must have been into some homes and seen families in a bit of a state at the end of their tether. What's that like for you to walk into?
First of all, it's an honour to walk into that and feel that you can actually, it's like, they use this word journey. So journey is very complicated. If you think of taking a journey in a car, you're going to come across roadworks, traffic lights, crashes, God knows what, but you're going to get there eventually. So this journey, we don't know what they've been on. So we have to listen. We have to really, really listen to what they know and what they're thinking, and then find out what they want to know. So, I can remember a couple of really, really tricky situations, actually, that the family were absolutely distraught, completely distraught. You've just got to do what you can.
So you're navigating complex grief and different people on different levels of grief, shall we say. That's got to be really hard, right, to do that?
It is, and there are certain families that leave their mark. Everybody leaves their individual mark, but there are some that really strike a chord of some sort, and we're not machines, so it does affect you in some ways, certainly not professionally, but on the way home perhaps you may shed a tear or two. And there was a young lady I met some months ago, I think coming up to a year possibly, who was at home, had a cancer that had spread pretty much everywhere in her early 30s. And she had two beautiful children and a wonderful husband. And she was eventually brought into the hospice, so out of her comfort zone. A lot of our patients at the Ellenor do die at home, actually, but this lady had a lot of complexity with her illness in terms of the pain and the nausea and the symptoms. So she did come in, and her two beautiful daughters, who are similar in age to two of my daughters, were there spending time with their mum, and we had chats with them, and the family team got involved with them at the Ellenor, so everyone was involved. Lots of chats with her husband as well. And I'll never forget, actually, the day that she knew she still just about had the ability to converse and string sentences together, even though she was really, really poorly. And she had to say bye to her children. And these two little girls, and she said bye to them. I wasn't there, but I could hear the reaction in the doctor's office. To hear those two little girls cry the way they did, it was so visceral. And actually, I was doing something, I don't know what I was doing. I was writing out a drug chart, which is an important job, don't get me wrong, but I must admit, I had to put my pen down and just hold myself together for a minute or two, because there just didn't seem to be any justice with that. But I think, judging by the way her husband has since come back to the hospice on a number of occasions with the children, that actually I think a good job was done. Not just by me, but by everybody. You know, I gave the medical advice, but really my role was just like anybody else's in the team, in that I was there like anybody else to make her life as good as possible at the end, along with her husband, along with her children.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure I got goosebumps, you said.
I know you have.
Like,
you know, and
literally goosebumps.
So it wasn't a case of like really complex medical stuff. It was really a case of just making this lady comfortable, keeping her dignified. I mean, she was working until quite late on in her life. I'd say late on, she was still a very young lady. But yeah, I mean, I've got a lump in my throat just thinking about it.
So, Sue, you've been with us 25 years.
Yes.
That's a lifetime. You must have seen some, and helped so many people, and seen some crisis and seen people deteriorate. And how are families different, should we say? Because we treat everyone as an individual.
Absolutely.
So you must have seen a vast number of, you know, different families that like things in different ways and want the support in different ways. How do you deal with that?
You just take each situation as it comes, each one individually. So I can think of, you've just made me think of a very young lady from another country, and she came to us from our local hospital. She was actually 21.
Wow.
And I don't know what had happened at the hospital, but somehow they'd contacted her parents and she flew in.
Wow.
But we couldn't speak their language. They arrived in the middle of the night. So we had to really rely on a lot of visual, facial expressions and signing to get through. But we did get through. And that was very interesting because they got there by the skin of their teeth. Their daughter died, I think, about midnight. And they ran from the building. They just ran.
Once she died,
yes,
they
they
left.
ran
Oh,
in the
wow.
middle of the night. They just ran. And it was, these were a young couple. They had a young daughter. They were in a country that they'd never visited. They didn't know anybody here. And it was really quite scary. It was really frightening. We didn't know what to do. We phoned up our local hospital to see if they'd maintained any records on this. She was quite a late in the day discharge. She came in the evening to us. And as fast as they were gone, they were back.
Oh, wow.
With shopping bags from Asda.
Oh.
And in the shopping bags it was December, there were gold, shimmery outfit, handbag, makeup, shoes. And Mum indicated, you know, I want you put this
To
on
put on
her.
the daughter.
Yeah. So I indicated back to her, to you, to help me. And we did. And we prepared her daughter. And I was confused. I wasn't sure what I was doing. And it wasn't for a long time after that I found it was an old custom from people living in this country that if a young person died without being married, they had to go to their next place looking beautiful like a princess, where their husband would be waiting. So I've got a real interest in the culture, what people anticipate, what they expect, and trying to understand that. I mean, you'd never read about that. You'd never read about so much of what
You'd
goes
only live
on
it, wouldn't you? And
in hospice. You just couldn't, because most of the stuff is so private to people. I like to think if we can do something right, it can really help the forward journey of the people left behind. So another quick case was an elderly man. I looked in the door. He said, I can't sleep, love. I said, okay, shall we have a cuppa? What's going on? He said, I don't know, just can't sleep. He said, I can't stop thinking. So it just rolled. Nighttime's a beautiful time to communicate.
it's calm, maybe that,
It's
there's no
beautiful.
family around, visitors,
Lovely.
etc.
Yeah.
Is that when a lot of patients open up?
Always.
Really?
Always.
Okay.
And in the bath.
In the bath?
And in the bath.
I love
Many
that.
of
Just
our
having a quick soak, scrubbing my back,
Yeah.
and then it all comes out because you feel calm and
Yeah.
comfortable, and
But many of our patients, they might have lived with their disease for quite a few years, quite a few months, and they've not been able to get into a bath or a shower.
That's true.
So when they come and they have a bath in the middle of the night with the soft lights and the music, they feel so much better, and that's when they open up. So bath time discussions are really common.
Noted.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the time that we tend to open up. Oh, yeah,
so going back to this man, he started telling me about him. I said, tell me about you. He said, I left school at 14, and he told me his story. And I happened to have my iPad in my bag. And we happened to find a library from a dairy. This guy was in his 90s. And this dairy had a library saved. And we went through all these photos. So it was beautiful. We went on this journey, and then we found a photo of him when he was 18 with his first horse and cart for a dairy. And it was beautiful. He was a different person. And he said, how did you get that picture in there? Where did that come from? I said, don't ask me. I know nothing about IT, but it's here.
It's just here in the ether.
And when I came back on shift a couple of days later, this man was waiting in the corridor, and he said, you must be Sue. And I said, oh, must I? He went, yeah, you've got red hair, it's you, isn't it? And I went, okay, what have I done? He said,
hang on, do I need my supervisor?
He said, I just want to say thank you, because Dad went unconscious the next day, but not before he told us about this photograph of him that none of us knew about.
Oh, that's so lovely.
And we've spent the day sharing it to relatives across the world. There's another beautiful forward, and we all do that, but we don't shout about it because it's really private to that family.
Yeah, but you make a good point, particularly around because that's cultural awareness a lot, particularly for the first story. Second story, not so much, but just having that time and that ability to be able to do that. We do that beautifully at Ellenor. But cultural awareness particularly, I mean, that all sits under sort of education, which we do quite a lot of at Ellenor, and we do, I'd like to think we do quite well. But Sue, you look at education across the organisation anyway, and is it almost like there's different elements of education, but recognising dying, and for patients, families, to understand what my loved one is going to go through as things deteriorate. How key is that for families to understand?
It's massive. It's massive. And we've just piloted that training for non-clinical people. So we've just piloted it, and 16 people came along to that. And it wasn't easy to prepare that course because I wasn't sure how much we should put into that course. And at the last minute, I decided to split it into 2. So we'll take the journey up to, and then part 2 we're going to do dying.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think can affect is that a lot of people don't realise that some of our patients are susceptible to a sudden event.
Right.
So they see, on the TV what dying should look like, or they have an experience previously in their life of nanny or great-grandpa or something. Yeah. So they carry that experience with them, and it's nurtured down through generations.
Yep.
So, for example, I've been asked, are you going to give her a little blue tablet now? What little blue tablet? What little blue tablet? And she went, when Nanny was dying, doctor came to the house, popped a little blue tablet in, boop, she was gone.
Wow.
And I said, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's step back a minute.
I said, I said, okay, there's no such thing as a little blue tablet. We don't do anything to bring death forward. We don't do anything. We simply manage symptoms.
Yeah.
I said, and that's what we're doing. We're making sure your mum's relaxed and she's comfortable and that you've got quality time together. So I said, so that little blue tablet, she said, that's what we were told it was. And I said, no, darling, it wasn't. It was just a coincidence that she died at that time.
Yeah.
So we've still got people in society that believe.
Yeah, there's a blue tablet.
Yeah,
out
people
there
are
somewhere.
tucked up.
So we spoke a lot around obviously how we support patients and families.
Yeah.
What about our staff and our volunteers, our workforce, who, like you say, if there's someone's been on the ward or we've been supporting someone in the community for quite a long time, we've got a big relationship going with them, we know the family, they know us, and all of a sudden that person isn't there. Surely some of our staff find that quite difficult to deal with and process.
Hugely difficult.
Yeah.
Hugely. So we've got a secret meeting place on the ward,
Secret meeting place. I love it.
and
Okay.
it's called the Sluice.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so the Sluice is an area that
That's an exclusive club I'm not
It's
invited
very-
to.
I
very
haven't.
often,
No,
don't
I haven't
think,
got
so-
membership there.
it's
too
where
either,
it's
so.
where we clean bedpans and things like that. And
Nice
it's-
area.
It's very nice because nobody ever goes in there.
That's true. It's always empty. There we
So,
go. Yeah.
That's our secret place. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep, people will just go in there. The thing is, when you're working in this world, you naturally develop a tight bond with your colleagues. You start to know each other. You start to recognise. You know when somebody's really struggling.
Yeah.
You know when somebody's actually up in their game and getting stronger because of that. It's an amazing thing to watch. The dynamics change up and down all the time
I bet.
and
Yeah,
adjust.
that's,
So it is. It's something that we're all in it together, and we all support each other. After an event, we also do debriefs as a team.
Yeah.
So we have debriefs to discuss how we felt about it, if we've got any concerns, something we just need to get off our chest.
Good.
And then we also offer mental health first aiders.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. We've got those at Eleanor. Yeah.
we have,
Yeah.
So, and then we've also got one step on from that, our support program for all our staff.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think there's a lot of staff there. Our clinical managers are excellent. They're amazing team leaders and they really do nurture their teams, don't they?
I would second that. Certainly especially when we have a death that's may have been comfortable at the end, but there was a lot of complexity through that journey. Most people will not, including myself, I'm sure, when my time comes, you don't fall into this world of a perfect family, which is what I described earlier. People come with their baggage. Most of us have a degree of baggage, don't we? And, we had a young fella who, we all loved him. He was incredibly funny. He'd led a quite interesting life, and I don't mean that in a judgmental way, but he and I had taken very different paths in life, if you know what I mean. Yet there's something about just human to human interaction and connection. Like it was great, like he made me laugh in a way that very few people made me laugh,
lovely.
and I think I made him laugh as well, probably, in my plummy sort of way, so but so it was great, but there were lots of family issues, estranged people and what have you, and that meant that his end was trickier than it might otherwise have been. We got him comfortable in the end, but it was really a tough job. But yeah, we had a debrief about this gentleman and we laughed all the way through it because he made us laugh in a way very few people can. The end wasn't particularly funny, don't get me wrong, when he struggled, but we managed to stop that struggle as soon as we could. There were some tears during that discussion as well, and the most wonderful man, and obviously I won't name that person, but miss him hugely. That debrief is really important because it allows people to really say what they think, and really say how it made them feel.
Do you know what struck me? Like, I knew this anyway, right?
Yeah.
But being on the podcast with both of you, particularly today, this isn't just a job.
No.
It's never just a job. You don't work in this
Not at
to
all.
get your paycheck, do what I need to do, and off you go.
Yeah.
It matters. And what we do makes a difference. And I don't think there's anyone in Eleanor, staff, volunteers, patients, family, that doesn't have the belief that what we do matters. And I can just see it in everything you're saying.
But what I just felt beautiful then, because what Soumen's just said is gold. What he's just said is empathy.
Yes.
Everything he's just said about that patient is him having a connection, and that connection is empathy. And that's what flows through Eleanor's veins, empathy.
Yes.
It's the ability to just mould ourselves to as many people as possibly can. Don't get me wrong, you can't do it with every single one. We're just human, but we just open our eyes and open our ears and watch and study and think, hang on a minute, what can we do to make a difference here? And that's empathy.
I love that. And that's so true as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned very briefly about, obviously, that there's a lot of people out that need our help. There's a lot of people that need our help that we can't or don't or won't.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of like we don't want to help you, but often we can't reach
Barriers.
these people that need our support.
Yeah.
What would you say to families who might be listening right now that are thinking, maybe I do need some support? I'm a little bit scared about reaching out for what that means for me.
I would break it down. I think breaking things down when they're at a difficult time in their life, because none of these people are difficult people. They're normal people in difficult situations.
Completely.
Yeah.
So, you know, when things start to feel worrying, the first tiny step just has to be to pick up that phone and ask somebody questions, not to put not to do a referral, not to do anything, but say, I just want to know this.
It's the toughest step almost, isn't
It's
it?
the
As well?
toughest
it's
step.
small,
First
but it's
step
really
is-
stiff to
yeah.
just get your
But-
foot moving, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So before the referral, just to do that initial toe dip, you know, and not panic and overthink and worry, because they're in a situation where we don't know. We're not in that situation.
No. Yeah.
But we can only imagine it's very, very difficult. So just dip the toe in, just phone and talk to us. Somebody will come and have a coffee with you in the coffee shop. That gets you in the door.
We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
just because you come under the banner of palliative care, it's not just that. You're under the ellenor if you want to be, and you choose how you want things done. Now, there are certain things that we're not going to be able to do, you know, like trips to Vegas and what have you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there are things we
Maybe
can
one
do.
day, Soumen,
Maybe one day when
one
we're,
day.
you know, richer than
Yeah.
richness itself. But I think sometimes just having that conversation, you don't have to commit to us at all. It's not it's not a business deal at all. This is about what suits you.
The other thing I'd say to them is a huge majority of our patients are patient-led. We don't contact them.
Yeah, no.
We don't
really.
contact them.
Yeah.
We say to them, we're here.
When
They're
you
at
need
home.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are ready to walk with you when you want us.
Yeah.
And then say goodbye.
There's
and
no
come back.
pressure.
None at all.
Still having their treatment, still seeing the cancer specialist, the
Yeah.
oncologist,
Right,
still
yeah.
seeing the other people,
Okay.
you know, but known to us. It doesn't mean that we will say to them, look, you know, it's time you stopped that cancer treatment, now you're under us. Not at all. It's a case of doing whatever you want to do. We'll liaise with your specialist.
Yeah.
And we just want you to do the things you want to do. And if we can give you, whether it's medicine or counselling or psychological support
Yeah.
to help that along, then that's what we're here for. We're here to serve people if they want to be served by us. So
Like you said, so dip your toe in.
dip your toe in, yeah.
Nothing to lose.
No
Nothing
sharks
to
in
lose.
there at all.
You might
know.
even get a nice coffee and a bit of cake when you come through the door.
Come up, come in
It's
for
the
a
worst that can happen,
cheese
isn't it?
stone.
So,
Yeah, the very worst.
They're
You know.
world renowned.
But, you know, getting away from the clinical side of it, they
Yeah.
might be really worried about finances. They
Yeah.
might be really concerned they're still working and they're not going to be able to work. So, you know, it's all the services. I mean, we could be here all day talking about all the different services. You know, there's so many. But just come and have a coffee. Come
Yeah.
and have a cup of tea.
Keep it light touch. Dip your toe in.
Absolutely.
No commitment.
No
No,
commitment at
Just
all.
come
No.
and have a chat.
No.
See what you think. I love that. And I do
Yeah.
think that's maybe a little bit more enticing for people to know that, like you say, sometimes referrals are a bit scary. You're like,
Absolutely.
I've been referred to
It's
the
a very
other."
clinical word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It frightened me off a little bit.
Many of our patients die at home when it does come to
The
their
vast
time.
majority of our caseload,
they do
we
die
support
at
them
home.
at home.
It's
Yeah.
every situation is different, but we will adapt in any way that you wish us
But
to.
we're ready for it. We're up for
Completely.
it. We want to
Completely.
learn. We want to support. Exactly.
Yeah, we won't
do
have
this
all the
together.
answers, but we'll know someone that will have more answers, if you know what I mean. And that's where
Very
communication comes in. Saves time, saves money if you're thinking about money, but we're not.
Yep.
But but working as a team isn't just a team at the Ellenor. It's the team in the hospital. It's your GP. It's the district nurses. It's everything. And I think our job, if nothing else, to keep that all connected up to support that person.
I agree.
You know, lost emails. Did you not get my email, etc. That just can't happen.
Yeah.
You know, so
We are the glue that holds it
are.
all together.
Yeah.
That's how I like to see us, genuinely.
I think that's a really
and
good
families would
analogy.
describe us as that as well.
yeah, I think
We are the glue.
we serve that as a central part of our sort of function, I think.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking you could do with some support, you need some help, just please give us a call, 01474 320 007 if you're in the Dartford, Gresham or Swanley area. We also support children in Bexley as well, or you can visit our website ellenor.org for more details. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I've absolutely loved talking to you. We've had some really goosebump, heartfelt moments, but it's been incredibly insightful, and thank you for all you do for Ellenor as well.
Thank
Likewise,
you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's
thank
been a
you.
pleasure.
You're welcome.
Really is. Thank you.